Hello folks, Wolfman here bringing you another nerdy video. Um, Sorry I'm a bit winded. I had to help my mother with my dog because apparently the two dogs are fine and one of his claws got ripped out. He's okay, he was bleeding but he stopped. The dogs were just agitated because we have so many guests in the house. This, folks, is a D&D story about the campaign that made me quit, as well as the most chaotic campaign setting I've ever seen. Now, it should be noted that in this campaign, I joined in late, I played one of the characters for 2 sessions, and then I played another for the remainder. To the point where I was basically forced to quit. And it's, in my opinion, the most chaotic, nonsensical campaign I've ever been in. I'm not going to mention who the DM was for sake of, privacy. Because there are moments where I think that DM is pretty good. It's just he made some poor decisions in terms of this campaign. So I was looking to watch my dog. And okay, let's just get right into it. This campaign was set in Tal'Dorei. We were playing D&D 5th edition. I was playing a tiefling known as Mortos. And I was playing also at the end a dragonborn rogue / gunslinger at a different point. Now, as I said, we entered the campaign pretty late. We were me and another friend who also joined were level 17. So, but here's the thing: we were told to make our characters, bring any characters we want, and we were told the campaign setting, Tal'Dorei. That was it. That was all we were told. We wrote up our backstories. We gave them to the DM. And we were like, okay, we're good to go. The way we were introduced to the party was traveling through a forest near Wildmount, where then they came across demons. And then our characters showed up to help them fight against the demons. Sorry, folks, my dog's getting agitated because he wants to go back downstairs, but we can't bring him downstairs, otherwise he's going to fight with the dogs again. It's upsetting. Not until we can't bring him downstairs until my niece and nephew and my twin leave. But anyway, so our characters introduced themselves. We talked to the party. We then head up to Whitestone, where we're then met with the person who is the patron of the party, the person who hired them to go on the mission that they're on. It is the Doctor from Doctor Who. Now, in my previous attempt of this video, I did go into how it's the blue box, it's big on the inside, but I can't do it again. It was the Doctor, folks, and I am not, as much as I am a nerd, or in some cases a geek, I hate Doctor Who. I'm not a fan. I'm not saying that makes it a bad show. It's probably a good show. It's just not a show that I'm interested in. But yeah, I am not a fan. So, the Doctor, which is the reason why the rest of the party was able to escape this event, which I will get into right now, hired the party to stop and prevent an invasion of Modrons. Now, most D&D players, when they think Modrons, they think, oh, is it the March? Has something gone wrong with the March? That the Modron do through every plane of existence, every couple of centuries. No, folks. It had nothing to do with that. Apparently, apparently this was a completely different situation. The Modron were properly invading, and not only that, they were possessing people. These clockwork creatures, for those of you that don't know, hold on, folks, I just need to deal with my dog because, if he's just going to keep whining, and I'm just going to have to deal with him a little bit. So he's not used to being so far away from me, but the thing is, he is technically... Oh, you're still bleeding, Pop. Oh, poor thing. It's not as much as it was downstairs. Okay, I'm gonna have to use it, put down a towel. Hold on, folks. I'm not restarting this video again because I have other things I want to do today. And this is why I want to set up that webcam, so that way if things like this happen... Hold on a sec. I'm just laying out a towel on my bed. Here you go. The bed sheet's going to get changed. Alright, I'm back, folks. Alright, where was I? Oh yes. Modrin are the epitome of lawfulness and neutrality. When Asmodeus was being punished by the Celestials and basically taken to court, he was brought before Primus, the god that rules over Modrins and the plane that they're from. Because he is the truly neutral being that is also the epitome of order. And the reason why Asmodeus was not as heavily punished by the Celestials as he was because he obeyed the rules set before him by by Primus, and the angels broke the rules. They went a bit chaotic, and him being lawful neutral was like, okay, well, you guys are clearly not being orderly. Here's your punishment. Leave my plane. So yeah, folks, that's how orderly and neutral he is. So yeah, the Modrins were invading Tal'Dorei, possessing people, and get this, setting a time loop on regions of Tal'Dorei. They had one in Whitestone, had one in the other big city. I can't remember the name of it. Can't remember the name of the city. But yeah, they had them in major locations to try and cover as much to cover the entirety of Tal'Dorei. Now, here's one of the big plot holes I had personally with this, and so did my fellow player who joined the campaign. It makes no sense to add us in the campaign this late. We were told nothing of this entering, and I'm going to be honest with you, folks, if we were told about this, I would not have joined the campaign, which I suspect that the DM knew, that we would not agree to this. Because, for one, I'm not a fan of time shenanigans. I'm not a fan in TV shows and whatnot that have time travel. Because in certain events, it doesn't make sense. The closest I've ever seen any type of time travel stuff make sense is, funny enough, Back to the Future and Marvel. Marvel being the closest, because the fact that they then purposely go back in time to place the Infinity Stones where they're meant to be. You know, they put them back to make sure that the timeline stays the way it's supposed to be. Otherwise, if they didn't, it would completely undo all the events. Like, it made no sense. So for a constant time loop to happen every day at midnight, which means why isn't our characters caught in it? You never gave us the explanation. We don't know any of this information. And like, he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, the DM was unfortunately very flippant about continuity, which then gets us into the situation of things resetting. Because if we killed someone and then time reset, the person's back to life. This was confirmed. If we steal something and take it out of the timeline, the reset would put it back. We had an infinite money-making method, and then the only way to stop the time loop was to break down and destroy these beacons that were causing the time loops. Now, My wizard was with the party for 2 sessions because shortly after which my character was a descendant of Mephistopheles. The DM and I rolled to see how much of a direct descendant was he, and it came up. Okay, he's the son of Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles had got immortal and created children. Somehow, now get this, folks. This is another moment where this was another danger sign that me and my fellow player who joined late also had. My character goes to hell to try and get information on Primus, and he's like, "It's also, don't worry, guys, I'll be safe from the time loop because I'll be in a different plane of existence." So my character pops down to hell with this spell, to only discover that Mephistopheles, the ruler of the 8th layer of hell, the master of arcane knowledge and intelligence, essentially, decided to have a rebellion against Asmodeus. And he failed, so which somehow meant my character was to be, the next ruler. Asmodeus showed up and he's like, "Hey, if you promise me, if you make a contract with me that you will not, try and usurp me like your father did, I'll let you be in charge." Which my character was like, "Sure, I get all this arcane knowledge, so sure." So that's how my character left the camp. That's how that character left the campaign after 2 sessions. I started an adventure and became an archdevil lich in 2 sessions. So I roll up a new character. This introduces the only character art that I own, and it is because of this DM. So I am very thankful for this DM, and also it led to me creating one of my favorite characters I've ever played it with in D&D. No, up here. If you're bleeding, there's not much blood on this towel. Okay, I guess it stopped bleeding again. Okay. Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to make sure my bed doesn't get covered in blood, and that it's obviously stopped bleeding. But yeah, it seems like he's okay now. This, unfortunately, whenever my niece and nephew are here, the dogs do get agitated, and this does happen a lot. Anyway, so Nakul, my second favorite character in D&D that I've ever played as. He's a gunslinger based on a homebrew class that my friend made. So he made it, and then I eventually worked on it with him quite a lot and extensively. Especially the sniper and the duelist. He worked more on I will say I hardly touched the arcane gunner. Because that was something that he was heavily interested in and wanted to get right. And again, it's a great class. You should go on to D&D. Sorry, you should go on to DM's Guild. Look up Gunslinger by Blueco. It's an amazing class, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, so yeah, my new character also. He too was strangely unaffected by the time loop that is affecting Tal'Dorei. And now this character was originally meant to be a rogue / gunslinger multi-class. But my friend talked me out of it because we needed beta testing. We needed testing for the sake of making sure the class was balanced and whatnot. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll set him up purely as a gunslinger. So we do that. I get some concept art made of him. It's pretty cool. I would love to show you, but unfortunately I'm not using my phone because I don't have my webcam yet. That won't be ordered until at least at the earliest this Wednesday. So I make my new gunslinger. I'm having small bits of fun. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't having fun during the campaign because of all the time shenanigans that was going on, that was exploitable, the non-continuity of it all. There was a session that really drained us when we went to Amon. That was the name of the sea. We get to Amon, which is another point that we're trying to free up from the time loop and try and root out anyone who's being possessed by a Modron. Again, that's a bloody thing. And we see a skyport, and my character being the sniper, he has like a scope. Now the scope has changed since then, but at the time it was very good for scouting. My character also had boots of spider climb. He also had eyes of the eagle, which is the glasses that allow you to see far off distances. So my character is walking, like, he's walking all over the place. He's walking all over Amon watching the skyport, because we apparently need to steal some skyships. Which, if we don't destroy the time loop devices, will make no sense, because time will just cause them to revert and duplicate. So, my character counts out all the numbers of the enemy, and we write it down, like the party writes it down. Because that's what my character was doing. We're like, okay, we don't have a lot of time. Nakul, scout out the location, and then we'll try and steal one the next time we have a chance. Early in the morning, so we have the most amount of time. So my character's like, gotcha. I do that, I give the party the numbers. Next session, we do the heist, basically, or the theft. The second time, it turns out there were more enemies than what we expected. Because, get this, Modron have set up the time loop, but they themselves are immune to it. So if the Modron are immune to the time loop, we have several means of somehow escaping the time loop. What's the point of it? This is not where I quit. I was close to quitting because the DM added so many more enemies than what was quoted the week before. And then the DM reveals why this was. He does not take notes. He does not have any physical notes. He does not keep a good record of how many enemies there are, and us as players, the entire group of the players called him out on this. We're like, we're doing time travel shenanigans, and you're not taking notes. And he's like, don't worry, I remember enough so that there won't be any big changes. And we're like, this is a big change. You messed up all of our plans. No, we played on. We played on. That should have been the third warning that I should walk away. Sorry, this should be the fourth warning that I should have just walked away. Now, eventually, we get their ship and we go to this ancient tomb that's based off this other. The layout is this other tomb from another D&D campaign. I think it's called the Death Dungeon or something like that. It's the Death Vault or something like that. It's the one that's meant to kill players. It's that one. So we start out. Now apparently this is also out of time loop, but it's where we can go to stop Primus. We did a time skip and we weren't given a 100% clear explanation. So we start going through the dungeon, whatnot. Nakul's lawful evilness starts showing, where, like, he does regret that his teammate died, but he will just quickly move on and continue the mission. We'll mourn him when we're finished. Which got on some characters' nerves, but they patched things up. They were like, we'll discuss this later. And we eventually get to a situation where we then, one of the players, my friend who was playing a character, he left after the whole airship incident. He comes back as a guest, controlling an NPC, and the DM basically just gave him a lich plus a Draco lich, and he was like, okay, and he took full use of it. He's like, hey, you're the one who gave me this. If I end up doing a TBK, it's on you. And it wasn't only a TBK, there was the Orb of Invulnerability he cast. The Dracolich was really fucking tough. No, eventually, it was around this time that the DM started pestering me. He started going, hey, you're going to a dungeon. I need you to multi-class into some. Change your character. I'm like, but it's been several sessions. He's like, I don't care. Change your character because I don't want you to not be. To... He just kept hounding me, and I was like, fine, I'll add some levels in. I'll take some levels of Gunslinger away and add levels of Rogue. He's like, good. So, my character lost abilities that he showed off previous sessions. Like, again, this DM does not care about continuity, and it was like 2 sessions after that moment where I said to them, "Hey, look, I'm leaving. I'm not having fun. I think you need to end this campaign soon and rethink it and figure out where you went wrong. For me, you went wrong, and I gave him my reasons. I gave him the time stuff. I gave him the Doctor Who thing. Like I told him how he should have told me in advance about it because I personally don't like Doctor Who, and I would have been nice to know that he was going to be a main character within the campaign. And there was also inter-party. There was no party cohesion. We had a character like this character called Strix, who was very chaotic, despite what the party was talking about. But like it was a really messed up campaign. Like there were so many moments where it was just really messed up. We were given plot tread lines that basically went nowhere because we were then railroaded into the end towards the final quest. And the fact that you were a DM and you're not taking notes, like I don't take extensive notes, I take vague notes because my story is changed based on the player's actions. Like and the enemy react to what the party does, so I make those small changes. Like if the enemy found out that the party did this, then they're going to do something like this to counteract them. Or if they discover that they have this such and such spell, they'll be like, okay, well, we're going to make sure our next plan involves stuff like this, you know? So like, yeah, so I take vague notes, but I take notes. He just refused to take any kind of notes. Now, he asked me, the campaign ended shortly after you left. Do you want me to send you the epilogue? I was like, to be honest with you, with your campaign, I'm sorry, but I don't really care. He sent me the epilogue anyway. And basically, because the party eventually the party did buy some airships from this secondhand airship vendor, and apparently, as part of the epilogue for my character now, this is where the DM showed how spiteful he is, and this is the moment where that was the moment where I decided, no matter how much time has passed, I'm never going to be in a campaign with with him again as the DM because of how spiteful this act was. As part of the epilogue, my character impaled himself on his own ship out of his own sheer stupidity. He posted that to me. And I was just like, wow. You're that spiteful that you're going to just simply have my character suddenly become so stupid that that he'll somehow get to the very front of his ship, hang off the side of it, and somehow get himself impaled on his ship. And again, like he used the words his own stupidity. Everyone in the party criticized my character for planning things out, like the fact that he wanted to make several plans before taking action. So, yeah, my character was always a meticulous planner, and the party knew that. The party, the players themselves were like, yes, thank God we have one person in the party who actually does like making plans. We're all basically playing chaotic neutral characters or chaotic good. So it's nice to have someone who is, tactical. And my character was like, well, he has to be. He's a sniper. So, yeah. That was the worst D&D campaign I've ever been in. And it's the only D&D campaign that I've been in where I had to leave and I quit because I was having so little fun. Now, Adventures League, I don't count for that because Adventure League, it doesn't even feel like a campaign. Or at least the way my Adventures League did things, it didn't feel like a campaign. It was too chaotic. We bounced between seasons and whatnot. Now, again, I understand that we start like, I know we left the current season because we didn't have enough adventures in that season to continue. But my idea, what my logic was, then why did you say we were going to do it? Why are we doing it if we're just going to have to leave it? You know? And it just, and the way, like, it was just. So yeah, folks, that was that campaign. Again, I did not mention any names for sake of privacy. So this is the story, the worst campaign I've ever been in. This is about, please, folks, if you liked this video and you want to see more videos, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to be trying to do a D&D story every weekend, as well as I'm going to try and do some older public videos, which I believe it is now updated. It is updated, so I'll be getting into that. My Let's Play videos are going to be shorter. I'm going to pause the game if I'm able, or pause the cutscene. Well, no, I will always let the cutscene play out, actually. But yeah, as soon as my character exits a cutscene or finishes a mission, I stop the recording, and then I will name it, and I will then upload it. So again, you'll get videos regularly with me. My videos are going to become shorter. This one, except for obviously my D&D stories, because they can take a while. But yeah, so remember, subscribe if you want to see more content. Make sure you get notified. Make sure you hit the bell. This is Wolf and Ninja signing out. May the force be with you, and remember, roll for initiative.